Early in the morning, all the chief priests and the elders of the people made their plans how to have Jesus executed. Were you there when they sentenced him to death? 'Cause sometimes it causes me to tremble. So they bound him and led him away and handed him over to Pilate, the governor. Were you there when they sent him to his trial? 'Cause sometimes it causes me to tremble. Judas, who had betrayed him, saw that Jesus was condemned. He was remorseful. He said, "I've sinned," and he brings the money back to the leaders. The chief priest picked up the coins and said, "We can't use this money into the treasury because it's blood money." And so they decide to buy a field. Were you there when they justified their sin? 'Cause sometimes it causes me to tremble. Meanwhile, Jesus stands before the governor and he says, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus says, "You have said so." The Jews hurl accusations at him. Jesus is silent. Pilate can't figure out why Jesus won't respond. Pilate doesn't know what to do, and he says, "I just wash my hands of all this," because he offers them the choice between a criminal Barabbas and Jesus. Who will they set free? And their answer is, "Crucify him, crucify Jesus." Were you there when they said, "Crucify"? 'Cause sometimes it causes me to tremble. And then he released Barabbas to them, and he had Jesus flogged and handed over to be crucified. Were you there when they had Jesus flogged? Sometimes it causes me to tremble. The soldiers take Jesus and they gather the whole company of soldiers around him, and they stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him and twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head, and they put a staff in his right hand, and they knelt in front of him and mocked him. "Hail, King of the Jews," they said. They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. And after they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him, and they led him away to crucify him. Were you there when they mocked and tortured him? 'Cause sometimes it causes me to tremble. As they were going out, they met a man named Cyrene from Cyrene named Simon, and they forced him to carry the cross. And they came to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull, and they offered Jesus a wine to drink mixed with gall, which would have numbed his pain, but after tasting it, he refused to drink it. And then they crucified him. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? 'Cause sometimes it causes me to tremble. They sat down, they kept watch over him, and they placed a sign above him. This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. People passed by and hurled insults at him, shaking their heads, saying, "You're going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days. Well, save yourself. Come down from the cross if you are the Son of God." Were you there when they taunted him? Come down. Sometimes it causes me to tremble. In the same way, the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders, they mocked him. He saved others, but he can't even save himself. He's the King of Israel. Well, let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe him then. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now if he wants him. For he said, "I am the Son of God." In the same way, the rebels who were crucified with him also heaped insults on him. Were you there when they dared God rescue him? Sometimes it causes me to tremble. From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness comes over the land. And about 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cries out in a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Were you there when he asked, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Sometimes it causes me to tremble. And when Jesus had cried out again in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit. Were you there when he yelled and breathed his last? Sometimes it causes me to tremble. At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split, the tombs broke open. The bodies of many people who had died were raised to life. Were you there when the curtain tore in two? And were you there when the earthquake split the rocks? Were you there when the dead man came to life? Well, sometimes it causes me to tremble. And when the centurion and those with him who were guarding Jesus saw the earthquake and all that happened, they were terrified and exclaimed, "Surely he was the Son of God." Were you there when the guard said, "Surely he was the Son of God"?